Hi, this is Rachel Cunningham, and you're listening to Joyful Love, episode 82. If you're ready to bring joy and connection back to your marriage, stick around. Each week, I give you the tools to up-level your thinking, open your heart, and bring joy and fun back to your relationship. Because it's not enough just to stay married. We want to love being married. I have a huge treat for you all today. One of my clients who's been working with me for about 5 months is just really blowing me away with her beauty, with her tenacity to be all in for her life and just taking ownership for what she can in her relationship. And, last time I met with her, I was just like, her own wisdom is just speaking louder and louder and more clear in each session. And I had to invite her on the podcast. So I did. And luckily she said yes. So her name is Laurel Budinot, and I can't wait for her to share her wisdom with you. So with that said, welcome to the podcast, Laurel.
Thank you. It's such an honor to be here.
Yeah. So let's start with you just sharing with us a little bit about yourself and what caused you to want to work with me.
Sure. So I'm originally from Colorado, and I decided to go traveling, and I ended up meeting a handsome French man in Nepal. And we went traveling together, and then we settled down and got married in the Caribbean in St. Martin. Amazing. And lived there for 5 years. It was really fun.
Yeah.
And then when I became pregnant with twins, we decided to move to France to raise them in France. So we've been here in for the past 7 years now.
Yeah.
My little twin boys are 7. So yeah.
So not only did you get married and have twins, you also moved to a different country. Lots of change for you.
Where I didn't really speak the language.
Yeah.
And where nobody really speaks English. Yeah. Life just became more and more and more and more complicated.
Mm-hmm.
And we finally decided to buy a house and renovate it. And honestly, that's when it hit the fan.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit. Oh yeah, that was fun too.
Right.
As I work from home, as you know, and I just became completely isolated. Didn't have the extra outlets of going to yoga class with my friends or anything. Even meeting parents at the school, everybody had masks on and nobody talked to me. And it was, so the only person I really had to talk to was my husband. And he was in a really stressful job at the time. Things were really stressful. I think the moment when I realized that I really needed outside help was when I was planning a trip to Santorini for our 11th wedding anniversary. We wanted to go do something big on our 10th, and we couldn't with COVID restrictions.
Yeah.
And so our 11th anniversary was just this, like, yes, this is going to be for us. Let's do this. Let's get out of here. Let's do something fun. And then I realized I was kind of a little dreading it. Who dreads going to Santorini, Greece? Like,
right.
What's wrong with me?
Yeah.
And I realized that I needed help working out with my marriage. And that night I found your Facebook group.
Amazing.
And I had told a friend of mine that it was like 2 months before our trip to Santorini. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to be all in. We'll see, we'll see what happens. I'm going to find a group and find a podcast. And of course, like that was one of your first things that I heard you say is to be all in, right?
Right. It's so much easier to be all in than one foot out and one foot in.
And so that's how I found you originally. So
Yeah. Amazing. And then, so you actually followed me and were in my group and followed the Facebook or followed the podcast for a while before you made that call with me. What made you kind of take that next step to make the call with me?
So you know what, actually something that you had said made a lot of sense to me, is that you had actually helped some of your clients earn more money by coaching. And I was like, oh, okay.
Marriage coaching can help with money. What?
And I think I use that to sort of like justify, because it is a big investment, you know? And like I said, I wasn't earning a lot of money. I'd actually been earning, you know, like 30% less than I had been a few years earlier.
Right. Yeah.
And that's a huge step, especially with inflation.
Right. Yeah.
My husband wasn't really on board with it at first. But the thing is that I got a birthday gift from my mom.
Sweet.
And she was like, I want you to do something really special for yourself. And you were the first thing that came to my mind.
Amazing. Yeah.
And I think because it was like, I don't know, I guess I considered it as like my money, you know, that I had control over. It wasn't like our joint finances of the house that needed to go to this and this repair of the house. Yeah. I felt like I could really justify it. Yeah. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. Thanks, Mom. No, that's huge though. Like I mean, for people who are sharing the money, there is a conversation there and sometimes it's an ongoing conversation that people need to have with their partners of, hey, yes, we share our money, and yes, all of our money is allocated to this. And I really think that, the coaching would support us in so many areas. And like you said, yes, many of my clients do make more money because they're feeling more confident in their marriage. And that's why I call it holistic marriage coaching, because like once you heal one thing in your relationship, it's like so much opens up. And so I think it's beautiful that your mom was able to give you that and say, hey, this is yours. You don't have to have the conversation with your husband anymore. Right. But I will say, for those of you listening who do still need to have that conversation with your husband, start with just a conversation like, hey, I want this. I think it would support us in our relationship. And I think it would support us in our lives, and just be willing to open up that conversation. Yeah. Yeah. And to all the moms and parents out there who are like, hey, here, do something for yourself. That's amazing.
Yeah. I can't even tell you how different it is now. Between last February when I first joined and now, I was even talking to my husband about it, and he was trying to think of a past fight that we had. And this is a fight that happened 5 months ago. And we're like, oh, well, even that's a great sign. We just don't, there's conflict, and there's big discussions to have.
But you know how to work through them without it leading to this massive blow up. Yeah. That's so incredible.
That's the difference. And it's just so much happier.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Just so much happier, right? That's why we do anything, is to feel better. It's why we do anything in this world. It's everything, every single goal that we want, it's we want that so that we can feel better. And learning to feel better now before you hit all your goals is the magic in life, right? It's and then you get to reach your goals just because you want to, not because you're missing something internally.
Absolutely.
in our, or a couple of weeks ago in our session, you went through a list of concepts that you had learned from me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think I wrote down about 14 of them. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. It was like a running list. And I'm just wondering if you want to share a couple of those that have really stuck out and how they specifically have changed your life.
Well, so the first one is the obvious one, is be all in. And I think like the biggest point of that is like, if you always have one foot out the door, then you're never trying to find a real solution.
Mm.
You know, I didn't even realize that I wasn't. You know, I felt like I was just trying so hard. So I felt like I was really all in.
Mm-hmm.
And yet at a drop of a hat, any single time you would just say that I like didn't clean up the kitchen enough, be like, well,
yeah,
like, no. All right, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Like, and it wasn't helpful.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys are watching the video or listening to it, but I'm pretty sure, did I see correctly that you said at the end, you like lifted a finger?
Did I do that? No.
Yeah, totally. Like just those little things, like the little petty things every day can make you just feel so exhausted and just want to lift your middle finger and say, F this, I'm out of here. Yeah. So, but if you're all in, it's like, oh, I'm not leaving. And sometimes people will come to me and say, I can't be all in forever. I'm not there yet. And I'm saying, okay, just be all in for 6 months. Can you do that? And they're like, yes, I can see that.
Yeah. And, you know, and one of the things that like actual working with you, one-on-one coaching helped me realize where I wasn't all in places that I thought that I was.
Oh, that's good.
And we completely discovered stuff new, like places where I wasn't being all in that I didn't realize whatsoever. It wasn't even on my radar.
Right.
And that, you know, and that's really one of the reasons why I wanted to do the one-on-one coaching as well, is because I had been watching and following all sorts of different life coaches and health coaches and yeah,
you're from Colorado. You're in that world.
I was. Yeah. But the thing is that some of the times I was feeling worse with some of the stuff that they said, because it feel like this golden goddess, you know, with this aura that just surrounds me. And I just feel so good listening to some of their podcasts. And then my husband would come home and give me some remark about, a lot of it had to do with cleaning back in the day. After
right. Yeah.
He's a cleaning Nazi. Really, even though our house is a total mess right this minute. And so I'd feel so good. And then he would make some comments and all of that would just slip away. And then you go to this like, well, wait a second. I was feeling really good before. Now that he comes here, I feel worse. Or is it like him, or is it me, or like not understanding this? There's just this confusion going on all the time.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the reasons why I really felt like I needed somebody to really just to help and be, I don't know, you said one thing sometime, I heard it, you were saying that you wanted to be like a champion for your clients. And I was like, I need a champion.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, as you're talking, like, it almost sounds like, you know, before we started coaching together, as you were listening to the other ones and you were getting pumped up, you were feeling that happiness. But the problem with happiness is it's super fun while it lasts. But if something comes in and knocks it out, like you're right back deflated. So like one of the things I teach is like creating that inner joy that no matter what happens around you, you're still solid. You still know who you are on a deep level, even if you're like, oh shit, I wish he didn't complain about the dishes. It's like you can experience both. Like, okay, yeah, he complained, and I don't have to make that mean anything about myself. I can still experience joy in this moment.
Yeah. Even though when I was listening to your podcast, I heard what you were saying, but I didn't fully understand it and live it until we were working one-on-one.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So that helped me so much.
Yeah, it's so helpful to have. I mean, I have my own coach. I don't do this without a coach. and not all the time. I don't have a coach like constantly throughout life, but when I am feeling like, oh, there's something I'm stuck in and I can't figure it out on my own, and why do I know this stuff on a head level, but I can't implement it on a real life level, that's when I know I need to go get some help. I need to go, get a coach again and figure this out. And it's so helpful to have somebody else sitting on the other side who's not so close to your life, but they can closely look at what your brain is doing and help you uncover some of those thoughts yourself. That's like the power of coaching. So I'm right there with you. I'm like, yeah, I love my coach. I love my coach when she says, wait a second, why are you making this a problem? And it's not a problem, right? Or yeah, this is a problem. So let's figure out how to really look at it on an intelligent, wise, loving level, right? That's so huge.
All right. So going back to my top tips, the second thing that I really started to do that made a huge difference right from the beginning was stopping the snide remarks. Like the, hey, honey, have you seen my glasses? Yes, they're in the kitchen where you left them. Remember? That's me. I'm like the queen of like the remember.
Yeah.
And it's like dying by fork.
Yeah.
It's like slowly bleeding out one fork jab at a time.
Right.
What it was doing to us was we were just always on defense with each other because we're just expecting the other one to just throw a jab, and we're just always being always pissed at each other, quite frankly.
Right. Yeah.
So when real conflict came up, we were already mad. So we just would escalate a conflict to a point where it didn't even need to, or that it didn't need to have been there. It go that far over something little.
Right.
We would fight over things like how to hang up a photo.
Mm-hmm.
Like things like that would turn into screaming matches.
Yeah.
Not either one of us are.
Right. It was like you're treating each other as enemies in your own home instead of friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Original.
Yeah. That's so good. It's one of the top things I teach is drop the criticism, drop the blame. And I love the way you worded that, like stop the snide remarks. It's so powerful.
And then, so then what's the next one that I really love that really helped me? It was just a post on your Facebook group that blew my mind. It was, I want you to picture your ideal partner, about how they treat you, how they make you feel. Can you really picture it? And there I was. I had this full detailed picture. And then I kept scrolling down, and it was like, now ask yourself if you are showing up as that kind of partner. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm not.
Right.
And that really just blew my mind. Because we all kind of think we're perfect sometimes, right?
Right.
Or we're perfect and yet we suck at everything. It's one of the two, or both at the same time, right?
Right. Yeah.
And that blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it just helped me to sort of flip everything.
Yeah.
And, and so later on in coaching and stuff, we've talked about, like, if there are things that I want to improve my marriage, like being more flirty, for example. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I am the one that can start that.
Yeah.
If I want to be more active and go out for more bike rides and more things, like, I need to be the one that proposes doing that,
Mm-hmm.
and not just allowing my husband to suggest our whole entire weekend.
Right.
So yeah, that was a huge one for me.
Yeah,
It was
that's so good.
an eye opener.
Yeah. There's another analogy that I've shared before, that, like, and a lot of times people will say, but it takes two to tango. Right? It takes two people to make a marriage work. And I fully agree. And if both people are sitting on the sidelines and everyone, and you want to go dance, you want to go do the tango with your partner, or whatever dance you want to do, right? If you're both sitting on the sidelines waiting for the other to make a move, waiting for the other to get up and go dance, you're just going to be waiting forever. You're going to be frustrated forever. So why not be the one to empower yourself and say, oh, I have the power within me to go have a blast, go out on the dance floor, do the tango by myself for a while. And then, like, you know what's going to happen really quickly? Your partner's going to go, oh my gosh, that looks like so much fun. And they're going to go out there and start tangoing with you.
That's exactly what happened with us.
So yeah, I love all three of those concepts. And I think if we can just change those three concepts in our marriage and continue those three. I mean, you had a list of 14, amazing.
Right.
But like just those three can change so much in any relationship.
I do have to tell you the fourth one, because there's four and it's just four.
Yes.
Okay, I promise.
Go for it. Yeah.
Those are the big ones. But the last one that made probably the biggest true difference was taking control of my thoughts.
Mm.
The concept of neuroplasticity, where our brain can actually change over time, and that we can change our thoughts, made such a huge difference for me. I used to constantly berate myself, like, too fat and ugly when I looked in the mirror, or, not think I was worthy enough or good enough when I didn't clean the dishes, or yell at my boys when they hadn't put on their shoes for the 100th time.
Right.
And just feel like so over this, and then feel like a bad mom. Yeah. Because I yelled at them and because I was over it. And so I just spent so much time berating myself. And I realized that what I was really doing was activating my sympathetic nervous system, so that I was ready to fight or flight at any moment.
Right.
And so what it did was that I literally had a tiger. I guess not literally. I had a tiger in my brain.
Yeah, your brain thought there was a tiger. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the problem is that the enemy was always with me, And so we really wanted to look deep into this. And so how can I really change this? And so I really worked deep on dropping the manual that I have for myself.
Yes.
And really trying to accept and cherish myself, who I am now. One of the ways that I did was, like, just for like body image issues and things like that, was I had to drop the manual for myself. I had to accept and cherish myself as I am right now.
Yeah.
And I really focused at first with like my body. And so I would think about it as if it was like the body of a good friend. I knew that I wouldn't be as hard on myself if I was speaking to someone else than I would be with to myself.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
And because we're always harder on ourselves than we would be with anybody else, even our enemies,
Yeah.
you know?
So true.
So I, we talked a lot about the manual and about how this manual is created from, it stems from our childhood and how we should behave, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that comes from social conditioning, the patriarchy,
Right.
religion, movies, media, Instagram, blah.
It's all over the place. Yes. Yeah.
Even our friends, even the other moms at school, even our yoga instructor, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But once we know where the berating really comes from, and it's not ourselves, but our outside influences trying to control us,
Yeah.
we can just let it go.
Yeah.
We can't let them win.
Right.
We can't let them win.
Yeah.
And wipe away the filter that has clouded our minds for years.
Mm-hmm. So powerful.
Once we do that, it's like our radiance just shines through. Since it was always there, it's just covered in a whole lot of shit.
Right.
Right.
Yes. It's always in you. It's always there. Like your beauty is innate. It is there. It's just like we have to just move all the clouds that society and all the things have put over us. And like once those are removed, it's like, oh, the sun is in me. The sun is shining through. Yeah.
We take back our own damn minds. We transform our own minds.
Yes. Beautiful. I'm so glad you had a fourth. It's so good.
I know. I was like, no, that one's gotta stay.
Totally. Yeah. It's like, it's the root of all of this work is like recognizing I have control over my thoughts, and my thoughts are what drives me to feel and take action. Like that is the root of all of this, which is, again, the power is in you, no one else.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So good. So good.
Right. And like, as we always say, pretty much, if you've done any manual or intentional model working with Rachel, that the result always leads back to connection and love.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That is the ultimate goal.
Yeah. Connect with yourself, connect with others.
Yeah. And the more that you can connect with yourself, the better that connection is going to be with around you.
So good. Which leads me into something I want to share with the audience that you said a couple of weeks ago. I often use the analogy that if you don't fill your own cup with self-love and self-respect and just genuinely loving and caring for yourself, then your glass will be half full. And the way I explain it is that your glass will be empty. It will just completely empty out and you won't have any more to give. And so a few weeks ago, you put your own spin on that. And I was like, oh, that is so good. So tell me again, and for the world to hear, what is your spin on the empty cup analogy?
Yeah, it's that if you don't replenish your cup, it's not that you don't have anything left to give, but that turns sour, right? And that they deserve better, and so do we.
Yeah, so good. And I love that because it's like, as moms, I remember with each of my kids being born, like I had the question, am I going to have enough love to give each one? Now there's 3. Oh my gosh, do I have enough to give? And the truth is, like, especially as moms, no, we don't stop giving. We just keep giving and giving and giving. And even when we're empty, we keep giving. But like, I love what you said. Like, it's not that we don't stop giving. It's that like, it's sour, it's tainted. And I was I'm imagining that movie Juno, where the girl has the stink eye and she's like, she always has the stink eye. It's like, that's how I felt. It's like when I would give from an empty place within me, it was like, yes, I'm giving, but I'm going to have a stink eye while I do it. Because it smells sour, because it's like soured, and it's like, and to lose that stink eye, we just got to start giving to ourselves more.
My husband is really good at working hard. He's really, really, really good at hard.
Yeah.
He's so good at working hard that for him, he doesn't work to 100%. He works for 200%. This is his own work, right? And so today we were laughing because we were talking about this, and he was like, "Yeah, I really need to work at stopping before I am just completely drained, so that I'm down to 100%." Like. And I'm like, no, sweetie, you'll be down, if you leave that 25% down, you'd be down to 75%. You got to work, when you work in the garden, you only work to your 75% exhausted. So you leave, at least that 25% left over for us, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I wasn't even thinking of it like that way. I always work more than 100% anyway. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with that,
people do have bigger plates, but it's like, if you're filling your plate so full, it's like, so full that you can't give to the people that you love. That's when you're like, okay, let's rein it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we as women, as men as well, we overextend all the time.
We do.
And we just, so everybody's heard that whole phrase of your cup and giving to others and all of that. But we tend to forget that they deserve better, and so do we.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. And when the more you can give to yourself, the more like it's like the more they're going to benefit as well. Right. Exactly. It's as simple as that. Yeah. Exactly. And one of the other things that we've talked about is just really including like your soul in the equation as well. Not just like we think of like, okay, manage your mind and take care of your body, but also like your soul craves fun. It craves expression. It craves joy in other ways that aren't just taking care of the daily needs. And so one of the things you talked about that you guys tried was to really kind of welcome in some more of that joy is ecstatic dance. Tell me more about that. Tell me the story about that.
Okay. So if you don't know what ecstatic dance is, it's free form hippie dancing.
Perfect.
Right? Like I'm just going to get straight to it. That's what it is. But it's intentionally alcohol and substance free. Nice. And so Simon, my husband, back in the day, used to like doing in America, we call them like raves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like trance music and all of that. And so he used to do that. And so I had told him that I had started, I joined a group here. And so he came with me a few weekends ago. And there's this DJ was really good. But he kept like so he started off slow with this intention of, creating this calm within you. And even just like a meter in front of you. And then just to sort of like get into that calm and to like connect to your body, connect your mind to your body. And just to be like in this calm while you dance. And so the DJ would like bring us really up high after a while. It's like a 3-hour dancing. It's pretty long sometimes.
That's intense. Yeah.
And so he'd bring you up high, and then like sometimes it would just like almost crash down to like this beautiful, peaceful classical music. And you're just like, wow, that is so different. Okay. Right. And it was very interesting. So we were talking about it afterwards. And I realized that it's like the practice of connecting your body and your mind and feeling calm within, like training you to re-find that calm within you when your flow is interrupted or under stress.
Wow.
Right? Like we don't ever get to practice that.
Right.
Ever.
It's like practicing guiding your nervous system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, people do, we talked about this, like doing the ice baths, you know, where you intentionally put your body under stress so that when you're in a situation, your body is already desensitized.
Right. Yeah. You're like, oh, I got this. I've been training for this. I have it. Yeah.
Yeah. But so this sort of like that, but you can use it for all different types of interactions. And because it's alcohol and substance free, you actually have to connect to your body rather than separating from it, disassociating it,
right?
Which you would, or at a rave, or you know, just drinking or whatever. So it's a lot of fun. It was a really good new experience for us to have.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
And is your husband normally a dancer? Does he normally?
No,
No. Okay. No. Amazing. Kudos to him for trying something new.
So he's actually changing, and we're trying to have more date nights and more fun and all of that.
Yeah.
That we're actually going to start doing dance classes, salsa dance classes together.
Nice. That's so exciting. Right? Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited for you. And just like like your ability to be all in is just out of this world. And I love it. So beautiful, Laurel.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. So next, I just want to ask you, what would you tell people who are kind of on the fence about working with me or not? Like they're thinking about it, they're almost clicking that button to hit the consultation, but they're backing away and they're just kind of wondering, what would you tell them?
Just go for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, like you're going to be amazed at how much it improves your life. I'm very frugal. I'm very frugal. My husband would say cheap, but
yeah.
And this was a huge investment for me.
Yeah.
You know, so I already talked about improving my motivation, which helped to increase my my salary. We're also still working on getting up the nerve, I guess, to ask for a raise.
Yeah.
That's stuff that we talk about.
Yeah.
It's not just all about your relationship. There was actually one point I was like, oh, I'm doing a lot of self-work. Maybe you should get back to like talking about you know, marriage stuff. But it's like you said, it's holistic. It's all connected.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, the other thing was I didn't want to waste another vacation fighting. We all spend money on vacations and all of that. And it's just so not worth it if you spend the whole time fighting.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So that makes like a huge thing. When I told you when my mom gave me some money, and I chose this, one of the other things was like, oh, and you should come to America and come visit. And I was just thinking like, yeah, but if we just fight the whole time, like it's just a waste of money.
Right.
Know? And now I'm really excited about going on vacation with my family. And
amazing.
You and I like specifically talked about how to connect with your partner when you're with your family,
Mm-hmm.
when you're with like your in-laws or your parents, or and how important that is, and how I didn't realize that I wasn't connecting enough with my husband when we were on vacation, when my
Mm.
parents were around.
Right.
And we talked specific steps of like what to do.
Yeah.
Hell, we even talked about how to like make time to go off and have a little quickie, you know?
Right.
Stuff like that. We're like, and
Yeah.
like brought up reasons of like, oh yeah, I didn't even want to have sex like with my husband because my parents were around. I was like, yeah,
Right.
but when your parents come to visit you for 3 weeks at a time, then
Yeah.
that's a lot of no nookie, you know?
Right. Yeah. 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 That's
You were
what's
just like,
interesting. When we work together for 6 months at a time, it gives us time to look at everything. It's not just, okay, let's like improve your communication and don't argue anymore. It's like, let's actually look at your holistic life, from vacations to the way you budget together, to the way you talk together, to the way you are intimate, and like all the things that are holding you back. Let's just look at it all. And that's what we do.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly what we do.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Laurel. I think it's one thing to hear from my perspective as a coach, and I think it's going to be a new experience for the audience to kind of hear your perspective as somebody who was being coached. And I think it's going to benefit a lot of people. So thank you so much for coming on here today.
It's not easy. I do work my ass off at trying. I do the homework. I listen to the podcast. We come and meet together. I'm always prepared for every meeting. And I go deep.
Mm-hmm.
I cry in a lot of them.
Yeah.
You know? But we also laugh a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. We do. And I'm so glad you brought that up. There's, it's not just you come to coaching and it's like this fluffy, happy thing where you get to, make super quick progress. Sometimes it's super quick. Sometimes it's fun. And sometimes it's digging deep and going, what's really under there? What's the root of the problem? And sometimes that's really hard to grapple with. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Right. Like my homework for this week is think about times of pain or difficulty that have now led you to where you are, and see how you can look at that as something that has helped to improve your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's some heavy, deep shit.
Yes, I can't wait for that next session to see what you've uncovered. That's so good. Yeah. Yeah, there's some hard stuff in coaching, but we do it so that we can ultimately create the results that we want, which is a connected life to ourselves, not avoiding ourselves, right? Like so many of us try to go through our day so busy and we're just avoiding ourselves. So like connecting to ourselves first, accepting our lives, accepting what we have, and also connecting with our people. That's it.
Yeah. Oh,
So
Angie, smoking. I smoked for 20 years and quit with you, cold turkey. Like, yeah.
You're amazing. You are you are so all in. And I love that. All in like describes you. You have learned to be all in. And I love it.
Thank you.
And I do think, like, I don't know if you're going to become a coach or not, but I think that you have a teacher's heart. You have a coaching heart. And I think the world will benefit no matter what you choose to do in life. But if you choose to be a coach someday or something like that, I think it would be amazing. And then you have my full support.
Thank you. Well, that is something that you've also helped me with is dreaming again.
Yeah.
I just stopped dreaming completely. I didn't even realize that I had no idea what I wanted to be when I grew up.
Yeah.
Like how kids and cooking and cleaning.
Yeah.
Like, I just never even really thought about it.
Right.
And since working with you, I know that that is something that I have to intentionally take the time to think about,
Yeah. Yeah. To cultivate.
you know?
Yeah.
To
Life does
cultivate.
not stop when we have kids and get married. It can keep going. We can keep growing. We can keep expanding. It's not just honed into our four walls as a family. It's like, what does the world have to offer? You are still part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Laurel. It's been so much fun to just chat with you about this instead of just coaching. So yes. Okay. Thank you so much, Laurel.
Thank you. Have a great day, and I will see you for our next coaching session.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye. Hey, friends. So I hope you enjoyed that interview with Laurel as much as I did. I just love coaching her. I love coaching all my clients. They are just freaking amazing people who dive in to do this work. And some of them come to me already have been doing the work a lot like Laurel has. And some of them come to me really just brand new to this work. And I want you to know that this space of coaching is safe for all of it. It's safe for no matter where you are in your life, whether you're just dabbling into thought work and understanding how you have control over your brain, or if you've been doing this work for a long time. As you've seen through Laurel's interview, having a coach can really help you dig in deeper and do this work consistently so that you can make actual progress in your life and really start to change the patterns of your thinking so that you're not just waking up every day and going, okay, here's my goal, and then forgetting about it by the end of the day. So if you need help at all in your life and marriage, I encourage you to book a free consultation with me. Whether your relationship is really struggling or whether it's kind of mediocre and you're just getting by, I want you to have the experience of knowing specific skills and having the mindset and the ability to create the results that you want, not only in your marriage, but also in your life. So, as Laurel said, just book the free consultation. It's a free consultation. You have absolutely nothing to lose. And we can dive in on that call and really look at your life as a whole, what's holding you back, and what we need to change to move forward. And I'll show you on that call how coaching with me for 6 months can really help you specifically in your situation. And you can book that call at rachelcunningham.com/work with me. Again, that's rachelcunningham.com/work with me. And Rachel is spelled with an A-E-L. All right, with that said, I'll see you on the call. Thanks for listening to Joyful Love. If you'd like to know more about my work, come visit me at rachelcunningham.com. That's Rachel spelled with an A-E-L, Cunningham.com.